Hello! Well, what's new this week then? Basically, not that much. Not as much as before, certainly. I don't want to be going and spending that much money in a hurry all at once. But basically, you ever do that thing where you sat there sort of scrolling through eBay or whatever, looking at things that are pretty cheap, and starting to convince yourself that you want them just because they're cheaper than the thing you actually want. And of course, at that point, it's always better just to go and buy the thing you actually want, even though it's a bit more expensive. And so basically, that's what I've done here. I finally got my hands on a whirl. Woo, yeah! Yeah, it's taken me a good while to decide to throw money at this thing, because for the longest time it was a bit of a, maybe not quite the same situation as I had with Rhinox, so it's just like, I want him. I'm not really that bothered about getting him anytime soon. I'll just sort of wait, and then if I see one cheap, maybe I'll grab it. And so, well, when Whirl started to sort of show up everywhere for at least 30 quid, I was a bit like, oh, I don't really want to spend that much. So seeing one for about 25 on Kapow, which seemed to be the cheapest that I've seen one of these, properly all boxed and new, not like loose or anything, for a good while, I thought, you know what, whatever, I'm just going to do it. It's better than just sort of sitting here ending up with toys that I didn't really want just because they cost less money than this. And it's like, well, there's really no point doing that, is there? If I want something new, get what I actually want. So I've got Whirl. I do rather like him. I think I actually really quite like him more than I thought I was going to. He just feels really good. I mean, yeah, he's all really properly G1, and that was something I didn't really like when he was revealed. It's like, I want him to look more than meets the eye. But really, having that design in plastic maybe wouldn't have been quite so good, because he's so really spindly and weird looking, and I don't know, there's something about the way this still rather spindly and weird looking blue heli man looks that I dig it. Yeah, he's got the chicken legs down here, and it's good. It's a good nod to the more than meets the eye design, and it makes him look a bit more weird because he already looks really weird with the funny claws and the head. But I actually, and please don't sort of crucify me for this, but I actually prefer having the legs that way around, giving him the normal proper working knees, because their knees don't really work when he's got chicken legs, because I mean you've got this joint in here and it isn't that bad to move on mine, but I'd really rather not move it after hearing all the stories about them breaking and stuff. So to have properly, deep bending knees like that, if you just spin his legs round, I think that just works. I'd rather give him that added bit of dynamism than to just have the legs look a bit more comic-like. And this way round, it's not bad. They still look like decent legs. He's got the little tiny sort of ski feety bits, but it doesn't bother me. It doesn't. I mean, yeah, you've got the sort of ski things actually running down the inside of his legs, but even if you put his legs completely together, they don't touch, so there's not really a problem here. I don't see a problem here. I like the way the legs look this way round. The sort of surfaces you get here and the sort of knee pad bit here. It just sort of feels to me like they designed the figure with this in mind, and then thought, actually, maybe we ought to do something to make it a little bit more like how Whirl looks in popular media today. And so they just thought, well, why don't we just make it so you can spin his legs around like that? I mean, yeah, it is sort of made, I want to say that in quotation marks, because it still really does feel like this is how they designed the legs to work, because you haven't got gaps running down the outsides of the thighs, and there just seems to be detail here that works this way around. But the feet are slanted, so they only actually work properly this way around, and I don't know. The way I like to do it, anyway, starting to talk about other modes, is have these like this for the robot mode, spin them around for his girl walk mode, just changes things up a little bit and doesn't make it look like it's just the robot mode without a head and like a helicopter hat on. Anyway, what about the rest of him? I like his pinchy pinch claws, they're fun. The giant sort of interchangeable, but then not really that interchangeable, because the placement of clips and things on them is a bit, well, silly. Big black unpainted weapons, they're alright. It seems stupid having to put a sticker on this one, because the sticker has black text on it and you're putting it on black plastic. Yeah, I suppose let's walk down that path now. Stickers. The sticker sheet. Yeah. It's kind of fun, I guess. sitting there, straining your eyes, making sure the tiniest ones are straight when you put them on. I would really just rather it was just paint, you know, just paint the symbols on here. I like the level of detail that the stickers give the helicopter mode, because nowhere near enough aerial Transformers have the sort of markings and little bits that say do not paint, or this is where a hatch is, or danger things on them, because real aircraft have that, and I really like that. When I look at real aircraft, if I go somewhere, look at a plane, I mean down near me back home there is the Manston airfieldy type place, which probably isn't going to be an airfield anymore, but bad things happening to that, where you can actually just see, you know, jets sat around and you can see all the markings on them up close, and I like that. I like seeing all the little yellow triangles or whatever you have on different jets to mark different things that you only see when you're up close, and having that level of detail on a figure is really good. I really like that. Yes, that ticks some boxes for me. But the fact that it's so goddamn difficult to apply the stickers, especially when the instructions are a bit ambiguous as to where exactly they're supposed to go, and the fact that half of them just don't really add a lot. I mean, I've put most of them on here. You'll see the symbol on his chest here, which I've mucked up a bit because I tried to peel it off a couple of days after I put it on to try and realign it a little bit, or actually put it inside the cockpit, because I realised that you wouldn't see the sort of edges and everything if you had it under there. That would look better. But I've sort of ever so slightly ruined that. So once you put the stickers on and you decide you want to change them a couple of days after you put them on, just don't. If you want to change where you put them, do it as soon as you put them down, because these aren't going anywhere now. But yeah, just things like the alt mode stuff is good. I like all of that. I've put most of that stuff on. I haven't put like all the ones on the tail fin, because you can't actually read them once you put them on there, and there are just a few that are just like, it's a bit too fiddly, and I have no idea where the instructions are really telling me to put them, because they're not cut the right shape, blah blah blah. I've put, I guess, 80% of them on and left off most of the ones that you have on the robot mode, because why, when he's in robot mode, would you need stickers that say underneath this hatch is so and so, like heatsink, and that would go on his arm, but you don't see that in alt mode. I really don't get that at all. When he's in robot mode, why would humans need to see where parts of his body are underneath hatches and things? And no, he's not a mecha. I mean, okay, yeah, there's some Dorvac nods there going on probably, especially with the was it VH blah de blah sticker on his tail fin. I'm pretty sure that's a massive Dorvac reference. But I don't want that stuff cluttering up his robot mode when he's a robot. Don't mind it cluttering up the helicopter mode, but not the robot. No. But all in all, I just really like. Well, it does feel good. The plastic is just perfectly nice, and I love this shade of blue. Not enough aerial vehicles are this perfect shade of, like, I want to say kind of like RAF uniform blue. It's basically the same colour that my shirt was when I was an Air Scout, and I like that. It just feels perfectly like Air Force stuff going on here, and I just really like that. He's posable enough, he looks good, he's got the light piping with the funny sort of visory thing to cover it up. You can extend his neck, you could extend his shoulders out if you want them to be more wobbly than they already are, and yeah, I just really like it. I mean, even his alt mode, it's not as good as some helicopters we've had, certainly not like in this year, but I just really like it because it feels unique. It's the sort of thing that we just haven't had, I suppose, at this scale. I'm not sure if I want to say ever, but at least in a long time, because it's the kind of helicopter that, I mean, it doesn't really need to be a Voyager. I mean, it's like they only made him a Voyager so he'd be taller than everyone else, because it's a one-seater helicopter and it's only got, like, you know, 2 blades on the rotor, and it feels like a sort of smaller kind of a more agile attack chopper in a way, and I don't know, it feels just more 80s. totally feels like an ever so slightly outdated model of helicopter. And I mean, I know it's not based on a real one, or maybe it is based on a real one, but it's not made to look exactly like a real one. But it just feels really realistic and just really good. Just perfect. Well, oh, I don't care now that you can see his thighs right up the front, and you know, when you have the context of knowing that there's a sliding joint in here to move the thighs up, that's only for the go walk mode. Kind of feels like I wish they'd got that stuff out of the way for the alt mode as well. But I really like it. This thing is a bit of a surprise winner for me because I just can't put it down. It's certainly up there with some of the best Generations figures I've had in the past year, and it's just character and fun and just lots of good things that I really like personally, because it just ticks those boxes of realism with an alt mode that is in the sector of alt modes that I really like. Yeah, man, World's where it's at. Just so good. I think now that I've finally got my hands on one of the two Dorvac-y blokes, I am kind of starting to feel like I need a Roadbuster to go with him. Yeah, I've seen how good a pair they make because John has a Roadbuster, and I've just sort of plopped my World down next to it and thought, you know what, they make a really good pair. I think I'm going to need to get a Roadbuster as well. I mean, I started off not really liking the design of that figure, but the more I've actually seen it, the more I've actually been able to sort of handle it. I just think, yeah, okay, that's okay. It's good, chunky. Just feels like the same sort of fun that Whirl is, and so I think maybe soon you may be seeing I've got myself a Roadbuster to go with him, and just to complete that. A nice sort of, in my head, that UK comics wreckers duo that they are. And that pretty much brings me to the conclusion of today's Robo Waffle. Yeah, there's only one thing that might as well just been a review about Whirl, but you know, I don't know. I haven't really felt like there's enough to talk about to constitute a review. Obviously, I've just spoken for quite a while about that one figure, but I don't know. It is kind of the thing you need a closer look at if you are on the fence, because some of the detail is insane, and I'm not even sure if my camera is going to be good enough to pick out what some of the text on some of the stickers say, because you need like an electron microscope for that. But yeah, definitely Whirl is up there and a very worthy purchase in my mind. So that's everything till the next time. Oh, and I got a Star-Lord too. Peace!